I just can't imagine a son doing that to his father.
What is the relationship? Because
the relationship was very tense.
He doesn't call him Dad.
He always calls him Skip only.
And he said, I know that you loved, past tense, my mom, and I know that you loved, past tense, my dad.
I know that his body was found. It was cut up or something rather. And it's just sort of left my stomach a mess.
Okay, so he was always been a disappointment to both his parents.
But so we went through the file cabinet yesterday, and I found this.
Yeah, he owed, okay, this is interesting, $70,000 on a business that failed.
Oh, that'll be helpful to you.
He's always got some scheme coming, you know, he wants to be, open something on the internet or do something. Or.
Did you know that his son was arrested?
Yes.
Jimmy? Okay.
I'm not going to say anything. I think I need to have a lawyer, obviously, so, okay.
Make yourself comfortable in that little, well, they're all black, but that one black chair right there in the corner. Oh, right there.
Right here?
Yeah, no, here. That's where Scott will sit. I'll sit here. The reason we do that is because this room's recording, okay? I know you had questions out there about us taking a statement from you. This is going to be obviously recorded for a couple of reasons. It makes it easier for me. I don't have to take a ton of notes. And then we can kind of give you an idea of what's going on. I spoke to you briefly on the phone when the investigation first started. I'm sorry. But I didn't get too much information from you as far as your...
basically what I gave was what happened with me.
Okay. Well, let me just get some basic information from you first, and then we'll just kind of walk through that part of the conversation, okay? How do I spell your first name exactly?
B-E-T-T-Y.
2 Y's, or 2 T's. And your last name is B-U-T-C-H-E-R?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. If you remember, when I reached out to you on Easter Sunday, it was in reference to a friend of yours, Skip Scandirito, James Scandirito Jr., who was missing at that time. And from what I remember, and you're going to have to jog my memory, you guys had made plans to attend a tennis tournament.
Right.
Let's kind of bring your memory back to that time when I had that first conversation with you, and just kind of walk me through, you know, what the plans were to go to the tennis tournament and when you had last contact with, I guess, Skip, we'll call him, Mr. Scandirito.
Actually, let me see, I'll go right from, I think the first call that I had was on Wednesday.
Okay.
And he had told me that he had been up to Crystal to play golf, and I believe his son was with him. And he had said that he would pick me up the next morning. And we were going to watch the tennis tournament down in Miami, the Miami Open.
Right. Key Biscayne.
Right.
Beautiful location.
So it ended up where I had gone golfing myself and out for dinner, and when I came home, there was a message that he had called. So I called him and returned the call, and he said that he would pick me up.
You know what time that was?
I was about 8:30 I spoke to him.
On Wednesday night?
On Wednesday night.
It was text or voice conversation?
Voice.
Okay.
Yeah, he was watching television with his son, he said, and that they were watching a movie that was very funny, and they were laughing. And he said, I've got my water and a map and all this sort of stuff kidding around about getting there. And I said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. So at 10 minutes to 7, I looked at my cell phone and noticed that a text was there. Now when that text was put in there, I don't know, but I do know at 10 minutes to 7 is when I opened it up.
Okay.
And it said that he was very sorry that he was not going to be showing up, that it was his wife's birthday, and that he was spending it with his son, and that he would make it up for, being, because this was the second time it got canceled out. He had friends that Gary may have spoke to.
Right.
All of this gang was down there, and they were all big celebrating, but That was the last time I received anything from him. At
Okay.
10 minutes to 7.
And that was via text? What, he had canceled to go to the tournament?
That
to
was
pick
on
you
the
up?
cell phone, my cell phone.
Okay. Were you going to pick him up, or was he going to pick you up? Do
He
you
was
remember?
going to pick me
He
up.
was going to drive to your house roughly 7 a.m.?
hmm
Okay, to head down, obviously, to beat the traffic into Miami on a weekday.
Right.
Smart move. And then he sent you a text saying that he was not going to be able to make it because he was going to celebrate his deceased wife's birthday, I guess,
No, just to be with him.
with his son.
Mhm.
Okay. When you spoke to him on Wednesday night when they were watching this movie, or did he give any more information or details about what was going on, or how did he sound then?
Oh, he was in a very jolly mood. I think they'd been drinking and so on.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have your phone with you?
yeah.
Can we just see, do you have the messages in there that he sent
You
you?
know what? It was such a shock to me. I'm on this thing and I don't like to be. That I thought the only way I'm going to get this all out of my mind is get rid of everything that I had of him, and I did. I erased everything.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a way of getting it out. I don't know. You're more than welcome to try it. Can you do that?
Depends on the type of phone and the service provider and things like that. What kind of phone do you have?
I brought it in with me just in case you could. But the messages, even on my telephone, my home phone, I had erased everything on those. Well, actually, I don't know if you can erase. I erased my messages, but I did have other phone calls that were not a message.
So just to reiterate what Detective Curtis was saying, so you guys first planned to go to the tennis tournament. When was that? When did the idea first come up?
Oh, we had planned this, in the past, that we would go to that meet.
Okay.
Because he's a big tennis player, and I used to be a big tennis player myself.
Okay.
And so...
So Wednesday, you have contact.
Mhm.
Was he home from the golf course? Was he at the golf course?
He was home. It was in the evening.
So he got home from the golf course.
It must have been, like I say, about 8:30.
Okay.
And
He calls you, leaves a message. You had been out,
right,
and you returned the phone
I
call.
returned the call.
And you made arrangements that he was going to pick you up in the morning. Everything sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you received a text in the morning
Right,
that he wouldn't be picking you up.
right.
Any reason why on the text, or?
Well, to let me know he wasn't going to come. Why? You mean why?
Why he canceled at the last minute?
I don't have any idea. Other than he said he was going to spend it with his son.
Okay.
Was that in the text, or was that?
It was in
It
the,
was just the one
it
text
was
you got?
in the text.
It was just one text? Okay.
Mhm.
So you didn't have a text conversation back and forth? It wasn't
I
like,
just-
oh, I'm sorry to
I was a
hear.
little upset at
Okay.
that time. I just said, okay. That was my answer back to him.
And did he respond to that?
No,
No, okay. And then you have no conversation or no
that was
text?
the last.
Would he
that's all
normally-
I heard from you.
How long have you known Skip, or James?
Oh, gee, I used to play golf at Ocean Breeze. So everybody knew him.
Had you guys gone out socially before?
Is this necessary for me to go into this kind
Well,
of conversation?
I'll kind of tell you where I'm going to lead with my question. I'm just wondering if you had been out before and him canceling at the last minute at 7 a.m. was something he would do, or is this
I don't
something,
understand what you mean.
like when he messaged you, you guys had planned on this tennis tournament to go to,
Mhm.
and you said you were upset because at 7 a.m. he messaged you to say, or you see the message that said, I'm not going to be going. Now, was that something he was not normally to do? Like if you guys made plans, he would be there to do what you made plans to do?
No, it's just that I got up so early to prepare for it. It's
No,
7
no, I
in the morning.
understand. But what I'm asking though, and maybe I'm not saying it right.
Maybe you're misunderstanding me.
Right.
Because I'm an easygoing person. I just said, okay.
Yep, no, understood. But I'm just wondering, is making plans and canceling, was that normal for Skip, that he'd cancel out, or?
No.
No. So if you guys made plans, you guys
Right.
did what you planned to do.
He canceled out the week before because of all this gang that was
His
visiting.
buddies, right.
And the one, Gary,
Mhm.
I guess they were coming from Fort Myers, from a big golf thing. And he got sick in the car and was going to throw up and all this, or he was
Right.
having to pull over. And so he says, I'm not going to be able to make it tomorrow. Let's do it,
Okay,
you know.
Gotcha.
So that was fine with me.
okay.
Did you, when you would talk to Skip, would it be mostly on the phone, like voice conversations, or did he tend to text you a lot?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how long would you just say you've known Skip for, roughly, just so I have a general idea?
Oh, I've known him, you know, but, you know, he was married, so
Okay.
I would say, my son would probably nudge me not to say anything.
Just, I mean, it doesn't have to be
I mean,
exact
really,
figure.
what is the reason for that
Well,
question?
you know, I'm not sure how much you know about our investigation. Have you been reading the papers? Do you know what the status is of our investigation?
I don't know anything I know that his body was found,
Okay.
and I know that it was cut up or something rather. It's what
Okay.
everybody's in. And I actually am getting my information because it was too upsetting for me.
Okay.
That's very upsetting to
Did
somebody
you-
that you know, and I thought he was a very nice man.
Did you know that his son was arrested,
Yes.
Jimmy? Okay. Do you know his son? Have you had contact with him?
I have never met any of his family.
So you never met his son Jimmy then?
No, I don't know any of the family or friends.
Did Skip ever talk to you about his relationship with his son at all? Did he ever come up in conversation?
It was, you know, they were going golfing or, you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, there was really, I don't know what their relationship was with each other.
Okay.
Although I do know that they spent a lot of time with each other. Seemed like he was with Jimmy a lot.
Okay.
You know, he'd come over to his house or, you know, little things like that.
Right. But the actual voice conversation you had with Skip on that Wednesday evening, it's not that he canceled the tennis tournament at that time. He was actually informing you that, hey, I've got the water,
Right, he's got the
we're ready
mats
to
and all
go.
that. Right.
He had everything kind of set up
Yeah.
to go at 8:30, and then the next thing you know, you get a text the following morning and you can't
Right.
make it. Okay. All right. Who were you going to see play? Do you know? I'm just curious.
Oh, at that time, I don't know actually who was going to be playing that day because they
Okay.
did have different days scheduled.
Yeah.
But I know that he would know.
And
You
he's
know,
a big tennis fan, so
he
he
plays
obviously was
every
probably
day
looking forward
and-
to going to
right.
it.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know if he would have gone with anyone else, but
No, and I'm saying you guys had talked about this, a big, like a day outing that you guys were going to take
it
together. It was gonna
they
be-
were going to go from one court to the next, you know, follow
Yeah.
them
Okay.
and enjoy that.
All right, good. Scott?
After you got the final text where he cancels, do you have any more messages from him at all?
I had nothing.
Nothing.
The first I heard about it was from Tim.
Okay. So nothing else after that text.
Yeah, that's when I called you trying to find
Right.
out where he was that day. That was Easter Sunday
Right.
still. Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to touch base with you really since then. And I wanted to meet you personally and just kind of go over where we were at, which we can talk about a little bit. I think your son might have some questions for me, so we can go out there and I can bring him into a room and we can speak to him as well. Is there anything that maybe you think might be relevant to this investigation, knowing what you know, involving his son? That may have come up in conversation, or something that might have seemed a little bizarre, or
I
something that stands out?
just can't imagine a son doing that to his father
Right.
or to anyone, as a matter of fact. And it's just sort of left my stomach a mess since I heard about it all. And I've been trying to get myself back together, and my friends and everybody have read all of this, so I keep being reminded of it.
Okay.
I really, I didn't know any of his family, and he did discuss his family occasionally, but I don't know. There was so much more that came into it that it's, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get more into it. I don't want to confuse anybody or...
Okay. No, well, I thank you for coming in today. I know it's probably not the easiest conversation to have.
Right, and it's, I don't know, all the stuff that you read from Detroit area and all of that sort of stuff, and I'm assuming that everything was straight with what was said to me from him, but
Right.
that's about.
Well, in the time that you've known Skip, for however long it's been, other than the time when he said he was feeling a little sick and he canceled on you when Gary and those guys were in town?
He wasn't feeling sick. Gary was
Gary was
sick.
feeling sick? Okay. Has he canceled a lot of other events that you've had with him, or is this like a very unusual thing for him to do, to cancel on something that you guys have had plans to do?
No, he never canceled.
Never canceled anything? Okay.
You know, it was, places that were always fun places to go to. So,
Okay.
but may I ask, what actually has killed him?
Well, it's still an open investigation. Even though there's been an arrest made in the case, there's only so much information we're actually allowed to release to people that may have contact with Skip or know him. And I unfortunately can't answer that question right now.
You know, he was a big man and larger than his son. And I don't know. Everybody's always trying to figure out what is actually the thing that has killed him. He had 3 cats in the house. I don't know what could have done from the time, other than the conversation that we had on the phone about the maps and all this sort of maps, and maybe
When you had that conversation on the phone where you suggested maybe they were watching a funny movie, did he mention, other than his son, did he mention anybody else in the house, or no? But
he mentioned to me that Gary was coming in,
Okay,
but I think Gary was coming in on the weekend.
right. But as far as when you had the conversation with Skip that Wednesday evening, to the best of your recollection, the only person in the house at that time would have been Jimmy?
Right.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other questions, Detective Bailey? Can you do me a favor and just raise your right hand for me? The statement you just provided is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, great. Today's date's the 24th of April, 2018. The time is about
1:55.
1:55 p.m. Let's go and have a quick chat with your son. I think he's a
Okay.
little concerned too, okay?
Thank you, dear. Get this started.
We're video recording in here, just so you understand. We're taking a video recorded statement for him.
Okay.
So what I like to do is I like to
Good to
just
see you,
do
Anna. Good to see you.
just a brief introduction so that when people view this, they know, what time it's happening and who's in the room and whatnot.
Right.
So today's date's April 20th. It's about 2 p.m. We're obviously at the Boca Raton Police Department. Detective Scott Hamley's to my right, and Ellen Scandirito will be providing a statement to us today in reference to case number 18-4573. Before we even get to all that stuff,
Okay.
let's just
And my
identify
notes.
who you are.
Okay, yes, sorry. I'm Ellen Scandirito.
And your last name's spelled, as we already know, but go ahead and spell it for me.
Scandirito.
Where is that in Michigan? I'm just kind of curious where that is.
Just 3 miles north of Detroit.
Okay, I was just there a year and a half ago with one of our bosses on another case. Drove through Detroit and then we wanted to come to Ohio. Long story. I won't bore you with it.
Thank you.
Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
The statement you're about to provide is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay, obviously we're here to talk to you about the death of your uncle,
Yes,
Skip. And I understand you have some information that might be relevant to our investigation.
I do, and I have some notes for my statement just to make sure I tell you everything. And
Yeah.
Is it okay that I have my notes in front of
Absolutely,
me?
yeah, whatever makes it
So-
easy for you.
Why don't we do this to start, where we met with you yesterday
Yeah.
out at your uncle's house with your family.
Yes.
Kind of take us to the beginning of how you became involved in this. I think that
Yeah.
kind of like she said the other day, and then you can kind of incorporate your
Yeah.
notes and things you have.
As far as my cousin
Yeah,
is
yeah.
concerned? Okay, yes. So,
And just so I'm just going to catch you up. So your cousin is Jimmy,
he is.
Skip's son,
Yes, he is.
and you were telling us at the table that prior to the recent conversation, you hadn't spoken to him in
Actually, 15 plus years.
15 plus years.
Yes.
So
Since right after the death of my father.
the recent conversation when he reached out to you or you guys communicated, that was the first communication you guys have had in 15 years?
Yes.
Okay. And just to set, like we said, your dad unfortunately was killed 19 years ago during
In
a robbery.
1999, yes.
1999 during a robbery.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so take that from there then. So
Okay, so my first interactions with him
recently.
regarding
Yep,
this.
right.
Okay. So the Coast Guard had phoned my mom on Easter Sunday, April Fool's Day, to tell us that Skip was missing and to ask if we knew him, because we're the only ones that have the name anymore. So a couple days passed, and my Aunt Sharon talked to Jim, and I wasn't getting the information that I wanted about my uncle, so I decided I was just going to
Yep.
message him on Facebook because I needed to know what happened to my uncle. because it was just sounding fishy.
Mhm.
And so I can provide you all the text messages, by the way. I have them on my phone. So I just started to message him on Facebook. Jimmy, my cousin Jimmy.
What was his Facebook under?
James Scandirito.
Okay, James Scandirito.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can screenshot everything for you.
Okay.
I just said, hi, I've heard about what's going on with your dad. How are you? Is everything okay? That was the initial message. I said, I really love you guys, and can you please give us an update?
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote back and just said, hi, thanks for reaching out, and that was it.
How long did it take him to write back?
Immediately.
Oh, okay.
From the moment I sent the message, I could see he read it right away, and he was typing right after. And then his message wasn't sufficient. I was like, no.
When was that roughly?
Can I get out my phone?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I can give you the
If it
exact.
helps you to have your notes out to jog your memory about other
Yeah.
details chronologically, feel free to grab those too.
Yes. Okay. So this was
So you reached out to him because you were obviously concerned about Skip.
about my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah. April 3rd, 8:40 a.m. was my first contact.
I'm sorry, what time?
April
8:34?
3rd, 8:40 a.m.
I'll get the camera.
Well, we can get Jamie. She's
Or crime scene in the
yeah.
screenshot.
Jamie was kind of standing by. I don't know if she still
okay,
is.
okay.
And he just said, thanks so much, Ellie. Love to you, too.
Okay.
And then I just thought, my God, I need to know more information.
Do you mind if I just scroll
Yes,
through that just to
please.
get a general idea?
Please read
okay.
it.
And we'll take photos of this. But.
Yes, please.
And this was the only conversation. You didn't have a telephone conversation with him?
I
right?
did.
You did? Okay.
I did. You'll see below after you read that.
Oh, okay.
And within less than an hour, he phoned me.
Okay, so he sent you that, so...
You can click there and see the time.
Don't you like drag it or something?
My phone is such a POS, sorry. I can just do...
Oh.
Oops, sorry.
Oh,
Let me go back. This was... Let's see. Okay, so this was April 3rd, 3:05 p.m. He told me, and I said, I will wait for you to call Jim. And as I will show you the phone record, I believe he called me at 3
minutes later?
No, it was about 40 minutes later he
Wow.
called me. He said he had just woken up from a nap. He had just gotten off work.
Okay.
And he came home for a power nap. I'm going to show you that record here. Before getting ready to pass out flyers. 3:25 he called me, April 3rd. 3:25 in the afternoon, we spoke for 8 minutes and 52 seconds.
Okay. And what was that conversation? Voice conversation?
He said that the message that you just read,
Mm-hmm.
he said, and he kept saying my name, which was weird. I haven't seen him in a long time. He's like, Ellie, your message was very touching. I had to make sure that I got back to you because, like I said, I was really touched by what you had said, and I know that you loved, past tense, my mom, and I know that you loved, past tense, my dad. And he said, and I just kept saying, I cannot imagine how you're feeling. I cannot imagine what you're going through. I'm so sorry. And he said, no, actually you can't imagine. Because he said, you've been through this with your dad, and now we can finally understand each other. And he said, you can't imagine.
Does he give you the backstory of the whole thing?
Yes, so he went in, he told me the whole story. He told me that that him and his dad were supposed to meet that evening, that Saturday night at 6 p.m. with Gary Gooden to watch the game, and his dad never showed up, but his dad told him that they would go on a kayaking trip. He was going on a kayaking trip with a woman who he wouldn't give the name. He kept saying the woman was single and didn't have kids, and that this woman had not turned up, and maybe it would take a week for her to be identified, he said. And he said that Skip was supposed to meet Gary and him and some other person back at the house at 6 p.m. for the game, and he never showed up. And he told me that they were there, and they waited and waited. Skip didn't show, and he ended up falling asleep overnight. I can't remember where he said at what point. He called hospitals to find out if they had heard from Skip. He said next morning came, and I can't remember if he said he called you guys or the Coast Guard, but he said he called somebody the following morning.
Anything about his phone? Was it going to voicemail? Was it going... Does he mention anything? He was trying to call?
Yes,
text
I'm
him,
trying to
anything?
call. Phone was going, he couldn't get a hold of him, that's all he was saying. Yes, tried to call. He said he reached out to you guys or the Coast Guard, I'm not sure, one or the other, the next morning, which would have been Sunday.
Did you try and call Skip's phone at all? Or your family?
Yes,
Okay.
My
Was it going
aunt
to
did.
voicemail? Was it ringing? Do you know?
voicemail,
It was going directly to voicemail?
go directly to voicemail.
Yeah, that's...
Okay.
And he said that, right, kayak trip, woman, 6 p.m. meeting, and then he said that at first I thought he drowned, he told me. He said, but now it's not looking that way. He said, because I told him, I spoke to the Coast Guard, because I was getting real upset. So I was calling you 10 times. I was getting really upset. So I called the Coast Guard myself, and they told me, and I told him what they told me. I said, Jim, they told me they did an underwater search. They scoped the whole area. Like, he's like, yes, they've searched all the intercoastal waterways. There's no sign of a kayak. There's no sign of my dad. He was calm. He didn't, it did strike me. I was like, God, he didn't seem upset. And I remember thinking that after I got off the phone. He didn't seem upset. Like, I remember when my dad was missing and I was a wreck. Like, I couldn't even talk. And I remember that in my mind. I thought, oh my God. Then, yeah, he kept talking about Skip in the past tense. He said that, I said, well, where are you staying? We want to send you, we can't come up there right now. I said, but we want to send you at least some food, because I'm sure you're not thinking about eating. What address do we send it to, yours or Skip's? He said, I'm at my dad's house. He said, but I said, have you been there the whole time? He says, no, I've been back and forth from here in Fort Lauderdale. He said, but you can send it to my dad's house. I said, okay, later on, I think I have the address, but please send it to confirm. And then I said, are you going to work? Have you been going to work every day? And he says, yes, I've had to go to work. I said, oh my gosh, you can't get any time off to do this? He says, no, unfortunately not. I said, oh my God, you must be exhausted. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I literally just got off. I took a power nap and then I called you.
Did he tell you what he's doing for work?
No.
You have no idea what he's doing.
And then he said, in the evenings, he's spending his time with Gary Gooden and Zach Purdo, who's like a son to my dad. He calls him Skip, like a son to Skip. And we're posting flyers by the pier. And we're communicating with everyone that we can to see if anyone saw anything. And then he told me that he would update me the next day. And then he told me that he loved me and he loved my family. And that, which was odd because I haven't talked to him in a long time. But I felt like it was...
Any reason you guys didn't communicate at all, or?
Our families weren't...
Well, just you and him.
Oh, you and him, me and him? No, there was some divisions in our families, Skip and my dad, and my uncle was very, just in a different class, I guess, social class than the rest of us. And he kind of socialized with his lawyer friends, and his friends were kind of his life, and I think Jimmy was socialized that way too. So as a child, I would see him Christmases, because they lived up there. So, and he was also almost 15 years, I'm 35, older than me. So, so yeah, we just were never close. But saw him over the years. So yeah, but he did say, I love you guys very much, and I will update you tomorrow. And I said, yeah, please, you can call me, you know, I'm here. So, and then from there, and I'll show you the record, phoned him, phone was off. Texted him, no response.
So after the Tuesday?
After Tuesday, 3, yes. Phone, right to voicemail. Facebook, he wasn't on there.
Was his Facebook opened, or did it get shut down his page?
His Facebook was shut down. Yes,
Do you
I
know when that
couldn't
got shut
even.
down?
That was later that evening. I could no longer search for his name. If I went to type in his
Tuesday.
name, yes,
Okay,
I couldn't even find him.
right, okay.
Yeah.
So no communication.
No.
I wanted to go back. You said, and you caught yourself when you said my dad, then you said Skip. What's this that he calls him Skip and not Dad? Or did he call the mom by her first name, or did he call her Mom, or?
He interchanged it with Terry. He would say Mom, but he would refer to her as Terry. But Uncle Skip, yes, he only called him Skip as far as I remember. And
Why is
everyone-
that?
They had a volatile relationship, and I've seen this in the times that I was together with them from childhood. Skip was known to, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, he antagonized everyone. He just was like, kind of got a rise out of poking fun at people. Everyone, all of us. He had some kind of nickname for us.
Okay.
But Jim in particular, it was clear that Jimmy never lived up to Skip's expectations. Skip wanted Jimmy to be a lawyer and to succeed in law, and Jim went to law school. It's not clear to us if he ever actually graduated. He states that he did. We knew they took the bar several times, and he never passed the bar several times. And so Skip would pick on him for that, and it bothered Jimmy.
Okay. Were you around when all the issues with Skip happened in Michigan?
Yes, that was the same time that my father had been murdered. Yes,
That
very
was-
intense time. And they left the state then.
Because of that?
Yes, he lost his ability to practice in Michigan.
How did him and the wife stay together at that time?
They did.
Okay.
They did.
How did Jimmy handle that whole thing?
He
Was
was,
Was he living with them at the time?
let's see, so that was 99.
It's 18 years.
No,
18 years ago.
no, he was probably out of the house. He was still in Michigan.
Did he move down here with them?
He moved out to California for a while, met his wife out there. They spent time in Brazil together, and they eventually moved down to Florida, and he's been down here ever since. So he had a few years away. There is a man that's reached out to me, sorry to interrupt your questioning, who has said that he's Jimmy's best friend of 45 years. And he said, he just sent me a picture today of him and Jimmy on the golf course.
What's his name?
His name is
I may have spoken to him.
Lenny.
No.
Lenny, let me see. He's trying to get information from me. He's wanting to know how he can visit him. Lenny Moravich, Moravcik. I can give you his phone number if you
Okay.
like. He
Yeah,
lives
go
in
ahead.
California. 424-236-9519. He told me that him and Jim had a golf trip. He sent me this picture today. Him and Jim had a golf trip planned for June.
Okay.
That him, Jim, and a guy named Nash, who lives in Orlando, were all supposed to go in June. And that they met at least once a year, these three guys, to travel somewhere. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you know of any other friends you had? You're on that now? Jim? Has any other friends reached out to your family at all? To say I'm
Just-
friends of Jimmy's?
Lenny and Lenny's sister Carrie, who also, they grew up across the street. I can give you her information
In
too.
Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
And Nash, who lives in Orlando. Lenny can connect you to Nash. They grew up right across the street from Jimmy. They've known him 45 years. And sister is, let's see, Carrie. I probably deleted her.
We can get it all through
Yeah.
Lenny.
Carrie Moravich Lloyd is her name. Same last name as Lenny, hyphenates it, Lloyd. Carrie lives here in Florida, but they've reached out to me asking how they can help us, but they're more concerned about Jimmy, which I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, if they've read anything.
I'm just kind of,
Right,
it's
right.
like, okay, but
Yeah.
anyway. guess that's neither here or there.
But no other friends that have reached out to you locally here in South Florida that have said, hey,
Just
George,
have heard
his
from
friends?
these three, no.
Okay.
What's the relationship with his ex-wife currently? Does he have a relationship with her?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
I believe not. As far as I know, that ended on not good terms. He wouldn't work.
Do you know any of the facts surrounding why they got divorced?
He cheated on her
Okay.
with another woman, and he would bring this woman to Skip and Terry's house while they were still married. She earned all the money. He would just loaf around and... Lenny also told me about some drugs he thought, just for your information.
Okay.
Maybe that he was doing, and he said to me, have the police told you about any drugs? He's like, I didn't think he was involved in anything hard. I thought he was just in the easy stuff, he said.
Okay.
Sorry, what was your question?
No, I was just wondering what the relationship he had with his ex-wife. It was like, if it was, a bad divorce and angry,
He was very much in charge of that marriage. Yeah, he was the dominating person. He cheated on her. She earned the money. She wanted to have children. He didn't, and I think that was a source of contention for them.
Okay. As far as you know, she's in the States, though, or is she...
No, she is in Spain.
She's in Spain. That's right. I
Yes.
heard that. Okay.
Yeah, she's remarried. And Kathy Eterno has been talking to her regularly.
She has? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Not sure if he's reached out to her.
And now, obviously, you've had a chance to be at Skip's house and go through some paperwork, I guess, and you have some
Yes, I
stuff that you
do.
want to bring to our attention. How close were you, your relationship with Skip? I'm just curious. What was... Obviously, he was your uncle.
Yeah,
You stayed in touch with him then, or...
I've heard from him several times this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen him.
Hello.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is our crime scene
Hi.
section. We just have her kind of set up
Come
to
on
take
in.
some photos of your
Sure.
phone.
I saw you.
Just so we don't forget.
Yeah, sure.
So, while
Sure.
people are available.
Should I
Yeah, what we're going to do is open up your
Oh,
phone.
my phone. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
And then she can take some screenshots.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up, let's see.
Let's start with that, the message, before we get to the Facebook, the
Thanks,
message
Jim.
you guys just had where you were showing them.
Oh, between Jimmy and I?
Yeah,
Yeah, let me just pull that up. Okay. This is the initial contact.
So would you come here to visit with the family, or would you just be speaking to Skip on the phone? Or?
I spoke to Skip on the phone several times this year. I haven't seen him since my grandfather's funeral, but we've been in touch.
And would he talk about Jimmy at all, or the relationship, or?
He's not mentioned anything about Jimmy, other than during the hurricane.
What?
Let's just make sure they had date and time on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
didn't bring him up to me.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. Let me show you
Bank of
the
America parking lot, 4000
text
North Federal
messages.
Highway. No injuries.
I don't know if you need
ground
those, but...
corridor versus pedestrian.
And then I'll show you the record, the phone record. No, and Skip, he always talked about Jimmy. This is named Jimmy. You kind of think we're talking about a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, and I'll scroll down for you once we...
Even though you hadn't seen Jimmy in, like you said, about 15 years, even as a kid, do you have any first-hand experiences with him, where he was maybe, like you said, angry and volatile? Have you seen anything other than maybe what you've heard from other people? Have you experienced or seen anything?
No, other than him just being really spoiled.
Okay.
That was my...
What do you mean by that?
And he
What would you
just...
consider really spoiled?
He got everything. I think that's all you guys want. The phone records.
Did you have any Facebook, the messages with Facebook Messenger, or was that?
She took Facebook Messenger,
Okay.
phone,
Okay,
text.
perfect. All right, that's good.
Is that all you guys
And
want?
any phone conversations at all?
It shows it on here. It
Okay.
says April 3rd, incoming call, 8 minutes, 52 seconds.
Perfect. And could you just do Jimmy's contact
Yes,
information,
sure.
just so we can see his name and his contact phone number?
Well, I just mean that he had everything.
And that, from the
He-
way we kind of understood it, it's because he was basically given everything because his mother kind of allowed that to happen.
Both of them.
Oh, even Skip as a
Oh,
child?
yeah.
Okay.
Both of them. Is that it?
Yep, perfect.
Um,
Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
The
you.
it.
other 2 discs are on your desk, and then all I need.
Okay.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jamie.
they paid for his time at MSU, his time in law school. They would pay for his apartments, even as an adult. They bailed him out his whole life. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
He's not been an independent adult. And this file shows you that.
What do you have in that file?
Just quickly though, you mentioned narcotics. Do you know of him ever using drugs or getting into narcotics, that kind of thing?
I know that they both smoke pot.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys found the stash in the house. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
But other than that, I only knew of pot and...
Okay. But even growing up, do you know Jimmy using drugs or getting into trouble or stuff
I don't know
like
about
that?
that.
Okay.
But so we went through the file cabinet yesterday, and I found this
Now, which file cabinet was this?
in the garage.
Okay.
It's labeled Jim's Debt. Skip never referred to himself as
Actually,
Jim.
bring Jamie back in. Or,
Go get them.
Yeah.
Or make copies of them on the machine.
This is very clear to me that this is Jimmy.
Okay.
Skip would never refer to himself as Jim. No one called him
Okay.
Jim. Skip called him Jim or
Gotcha.
Jimmy.
okay.
So I opened it up, and let's see. This was on top.
Yeah, we're gonna want to make. Actually, we're gonna want
You can take the whole
to.
file.
We can make you copies.
You can take the whole file. We'll trust you to take it. But found that, and there's several documents in here you'll probably want to see. This is some examples, on paper. What we're
2%. That's a good loan right there. 2% a year.
Right. The undersigned James Scandirito II hereby acknowledges a debt to a promised by my father, James Scandirito, of $10,000 at an interest rate of 2%, and have until paid in full said sum is due and payable for the consideration of obligation and to the payment of PNC Bank and Bank of America by James Scandirito. Okay, so that's January 10th, 2011. Okay.
Yeah, a couple years ago, but I guess it just shows you some examples of him bailing him out.
Right, right.
This is just a letter, like a settlement letter. Accept $7,500 as a settlement. Then it shows a receipt of an account number deposit, which I'm assuming Skip bailed this one out too.
Back in 2010.
Oh, okay. And there's several like this. Like I
Right.
said, I can give you the whole file.
Right, right, okay.
Let's just go through it real quick so we have a
Okay.
general idea what we're looking at.
Sure.
And then we'll give you a
And
receipt.
then this is a bank statement of Jimmy, I believe. Maybe it shows, I don't think it shows as much, but
Well, it shows a payment of $7,500, which is what this.
got it, okay,
Which is what this is.
okay, good.
And then the rest and remaining balance is obviously the interest owed.
Got it, okay. And then, oh, here it is, we've received your payment of $7,500. This is another one, your Capital One is severely delinquent. Please pay the balance. Why his father would have these documents, I don't know. Here's a voided check of $2,200 from my uncle and aunt's account, dated, again in 10.
Yeah, so something was going on back in these are all late 2010.
10 and 11.
Yeah, early 2000, late 2010,
Right,
maybe
right.
2011.
I don't know if it's relevant, but you're welcome to take all this if you need it. So,
Let me just. Do you know what your uncle's handwriting looks like?
yes, I do.
Is that consistent with what you believe to be your uncle's handwriting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because this we absolutely do need.
Yep.
Okay, so this looks like what he's done is created some sort of ledger as far as what Jim can basically afford to pay at that time. 60 months, $300 a month would be, yeah, okay, he's got it all kind of. There's no dates on there. Okay. Interesting. And then this is obviously that void check we just spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when we were at the house yesterday,
Mhm.
I think it was your aunt had some envelopes with some handwriting on it.
Mhm.
Do you remember that? Where it said, do you have those by chance?
The manila ones?
Yeah. Oh, no, they were actually white envelopes. Like, I think one of them was from PNC Bank. We can ask her if maybe...
But I don't have that. I don't know if you need this, but I also brought, this is what we took to probate today. I don't know if you guys need this. Copies of his monthly bills.
Of your
Uncle.
Of your uncles?
Is that weird? I don't know. We just thought maybe you needed to know
A copy of that.
what the heck he had in case you needed to find
Yeah,
out.
we'll copy it, just have it in
We're
case
gonna
for whatever
subpoena
reason.
our own, but we'll take those anyway.
Like he had a life insurance policy on Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys knew that. But if you need copies, we're happy to
Yeah, we'll subpoena to copy those.
provide it to you.
Yeah.
That's it. This is just my to-do list for everything. And this is a duplicate. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So we'll make copies of all of these for you.
But we're going through the house today. There's a lot of paperwork. I don't know what else we're gonna find, so
Right.
we're trying to get through as much as we can.
And you recognize the handwriting here as well as your uncle's handwriting?
Absolutely, same
Okay.
handwriting, yes.
Do you know what Jim's handwriting looks like?
I don't.
Okay. And then this is just your personal papers then, or?
Oh, I got this for some reason. Let's see.
Oh, this might be,
Oh, this was in the file though, so I
Okay.
feel like this might be relevant. I don't know. It says Jim's name on it.
again, 2010. Yeah, he owed, okay, this is interesting. He owed $70,000 on a business that failed.
Oh, that'll be helpful to you.
Limelight Partners, I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No. Okay, well good. I brought some things that can help you.
And this was also included in this
Yes.
envelope?
Now this is Skip's petition to take away his law license in Michigan. Don't know if you need this, but I think this somehow
Those
got
are
in.
court records, yeah, I don't think we
Okay.
have to worry about court records. We
Okay.
will make copies of that for you, give you a receipt.
Okay,
Um,
that's all I have for now.
Okay. That's all we need for now. Unless you can think of anything on the top of your head. Obviously we can always reach out to you.
Please
Do you
do.
plan on coming back down anytime
Yes.
soon, or what are your plans for the next several months? Because I don't know if they mentioned it to you in the state attorney's office, depending how things go. It may go fairly quick, but more than likely than not, it's going to be quite a while till this is all
Yeah.
resolved.
I plan to be back for the length of the trial. I'm not gonna be able to come
Okay.
for all the court dates, but we plan to come as a family for the
So,
trial.
Okay.
just to reiterate, so obviously you had that conversation with Skip on Tuesday,
With Jim,
Jimmy, I'm sorry, Jim.
April 3rd,
Yep.
yeah,
And then after April 3rd, no communication with him whatsoever.
nothing.
Okay.
Did you reach back out to him after that?
Many times.
Okay.
Calls, texts, Facebook messages,
And just no response?
no response.
Okay. He didn't try to reach out to you on social media any other way, anything like that?
No.
Okay. And how about Skip? When was the last time you would have heard from Skip?
That was, I was in Mexico City, and there was an earthquake in September, last September. He called me to make sure I was okay. And then you guys had the hurricane when?
Right. That was around September.
Okay, yeah, it's been a couple months,
Okay.
yeah.
Good enough.
All right.
But nothing recently within
No,
Easter and that time?
unfortunately not.
No, okay. Good enough.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to make copies of these for you. We'll keep the originals and I'm going to give you a receipt for the originals.
Sure.
Okay. And just so we're clear, these were taken out of the file cabinet inside the garage. Is that
Yes,
right? Okay.
exactly.
All right. Great. I think we're good. We can walk you out so
Thank
you
you
can be
guys
with your
so much
family.
for
If you go to the house, dude, if you're going back to the house, we can bring those up there.
Oh, yeah, we can do that too.
That's
Yeah, we'll
fine.
just do it at that time.
works. Thank you guys for all your work you're doing. It's
Our condolences.
tremendous
It's the least
for our
we can
family,
do.
really. You guys are really wonderful for helping
No,
us.
we're obviously.
There you go.
Make yourselves comfortable, gentlemen. Got good chairs?
Yeah, we're
good. Thanks.
Okay, first of all, let me get this out of the way with giving you her.
Yep, no problem. Let me just get your first name.
My name is Bruce, B-R-U-C-E.
I think we've spoken this already.
Yes, and the last name is G-O-O-D-I-N, and I'm Gary's brother.
And a good contact number for you, Bruce?
77.
And this is going to be Stacy?
No, this is going to be Kathy.
C-A-T-H-Y?
Laturno, I think you spell it this way, L-A-T-U-R-N-O. Could be different, it's
Okay.
Italian. And
Now Kathy is going to be who to?
that's his cousin.
Okay. So this is
cousin.
Skippy's cousin.
Yeah, Skip's cousin. And she knows all
Okay.
about, they
Where
played,
does Kathy live?
Kathy lives right here off of Glades.
Okay. So she lives
west.
in Boca Raton?
Yep,
Okay.
I believe it is, unless there's another city, but it's not too
Yep.
far out.
Okay.
On west of 95.
Okay.
Now,
Now you said...
she has Sharon.
Okay.
I don't know what Sharon's last name is, but Sharon is Skip's sister.
Okay, Sharon is Skip's sister.
Right.
Okay,
And
do you know
so-
Sharon or no?
Yeah, but I don't have her telephone
Okay.
number even on my other phone. But she can give that to you. She's got her telephone
Okay.
number.
Where does the sister live, do you know?
I think it's in Ohio,
Okay. So
but she's
up
down
there.
here in Pensacola visiting her daughter,
Okay. Sharon is.
Sharon.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So if you need now.
Yeah.
Now,
Does Skip have any other brothers or sisters alive?
no,
No, just Sharon.
Sharon. He had a brother I told you that was murdered
Right.
25 years ago. He had another brother that passed.
Okay.
They, you can start where you want, but they didn't get along that well.
Okay.
The mother who passed away a year ago wanted Jimmy and Skip, or James, whatever you want to call him, to get along.
Mm-hmm.
But they argued
Right.
constantly.
Yes.
And what Kathy said to me when she called it, she says, it had to be about money.
Okay.
Okay, so that, and she knows where he goes to or something, and he got connections in Brazil.
Right. Now you said Kathy will be back here in Florida tonight?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Okay, so we'll get with her then. We'll
Yeah.
reach out to her. Okay. Today is Thursday, April 5th at 1:45 p.m.
Yep.
So we last spoke at the residence at 412 Northwest 72nd Street, and James Sr., that's his residence, he goes by Skippy.
Yeah, but his number, was it 412 or 425?
412, his house number.
Okay.
And we spoke there, today is the 5th, myself and my partner spoke to you guys out there, I'm trying to get my days together because it's been a long one, on the 2nd. No, on the 3rd. Tuesday night, right.
Tuesday,
So that would have been the
late
3rd.
afternoon.
Yep, my partner and I
then
came
again
to your house.
In early
Yep, and we got a
evening.
sworn statement from you then.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's going to be the same issue, I just
Sure.
want to kind of talk to you about what's transpired since then.
Okay.
I'm going to have the statement you gave up to that point, so I don't need to rehash all that.
All right.
So, can you just raise your right hand?
Sure.
Everything you're about to tell me is going to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when we were at the
Same
house,
here.
yeah, if you have any good information, please.
If I remember something
Yeah.
that he told me.
Yeah, and Bruce, your
Brother.
brother. Okay.
And he lives in Boca Raton.
At Port St.
Port
Lucie.
St.
Or Port St. Louis. Where did I get Boca Raton?
You are hooked on Boca too.
Yeah, you've
I
got a
mean,
lot
I'm
going
just-
on. So, as we were there at the house, how it kind of ended at the house is I was there with my partner, Detective Curtis. We got a sworn statement from you and James Jr.
Right.
at the house. We left the residence.
Right.
We had to do some stuff across the street with a neighbor who gave us some information. We came back maybe an hour or so later.
No, you came back about 20 minutes later
20 minutes later.
to tell us that she wasn't home.
Right.
That you needed to get info from her,
Mm-hmm.
and etc. Then you came back maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, so an
Later.
hour.
Right.
That you
So a
actually
full
came
hour.
in and talked to us.
Right, we talked to you the second time.
Yep.
And at that point, we informed you that, based on the information we had, we were going to be executing a search warrant at the residence. We told you guys that you were gonna have to vacate the residence.
Right.
You couldn't vacate the residence with any property, anything of that nature.
Right, and I
So-
agreed with you immediately,
Yep.
and Jimmy wanted to contest.
He wasn't happy.
No.
Right. And you made a comment to me, because we've talked since that time on the phone and in person, that you kind of said, to your opinion, it would have been your opinion, that if you weren't there, Jimmy wouldn't have let us look around the house, and he probably wouldn't have spoken with us.
I don't think he'd let you look around the house whenever you guys first talked and just looked.
Right, right.
I certainly don't think that he would have let you have taken his cell phone and computer until you got the search warrant.
Right, right.
So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that
Does
he
he-
would.
is that your-
and he mentioned,
Is that your gut feeling, or?
that's my gut feeling.
Okay, so he didn't say anything like
Well,
that? Or?
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple of things he said, but not until we were kind of in the car.
Okay.
Leaving.
So, and then just to clarify, so we're there, he kind of is, a little bit upset with us.
Yeah,
Agrees to leave his stuff and leave.
yeah,
You and him get into his silver Prius together, and you guys leave.
right,
Okay, so at that point now, what you're telling me is what's transpired.
right.
When you guys
yeah.
left.
Now, when we got ready to leave and we got in the car and etc., he said, I'm not comfortable with them having my phone. Yeah, I didn't know. You think I should have got an attorney? Remember, because he mentioned something about that.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I just went over and plugged my phone in and
Right,
said,
and left
"Here."
it, right.
And then he set his down next to mine.
Mm-hmm. Right, he set
You
it
know,
down.
But then when we got in the car, he said, I tried to stick that in my pocket. I said, yeah, I saw
Right.
one of you take it. I don't know who grabbed it. You did.
Right. Yeah, he put it back down. We just said, hey, you need to leave all your property, and he put it down.
But that's what I meant.
Right, right.
But I don't know which one of you said that.
Got it.
And so we got into the car, and Tim was with you still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the one that was
The
on
partner.
vacation today.
Yep,
the
Tim
partner.
Curtis, right.
Okay, he said that he didn't like you,
Who didn't like me?
Jimmy.
Jimmy didn't
I
like me.
mean, not that term,
Right.
but something along that term.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were. I wasn't in there when you were questioning him. I was out talking with his neighbor.
Okay.
Because I didn't think I'd heard.
Right.
I'd talked 10 times to him about.
Of course.
That's probably helped him get his story down. By the way. But he didn't. Something like he was awful pushy or something like that. That he didn't
Okay.
like things. So I figured that must have transpired when I wasn't in there and you guys, because you had taken over the investigation
Right.
because you were getting it all recorded.
Right, right.
And you let me go and do all my stuff first. Then the doorbell rang. I went.
Right.
And I came back, and then when I came back and you said, do you mind if we take a look at the house? And before he answered, I said, well, sure. And then he goes, no, I'm not, remember?
Yeah.
I don't think he would let you do that. That was where I got that first.
So that's where you've got that feeling.
I got that feeling right then and
Right.
there.
Had you not been there, he would have probably said, no, I don't want you taking a look.
But here's, then my brain cleared when it thought, I went, oh, he might be thinking that you're gonna find a pack of marijuana in there that
Right,
Skip
right.
is
Okay.
smoke, because him and I both
Right.
smoke.
Yep, yep.
And not very often, like I told you,
Of
but
course,
when we
understood.
get together,
Right.
we try to get back to our college days.
Of course, we all do. We all do.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So that's what I thought he was nervous about.
Right,
But then
okay.
you left, if you remember, somebody brought dinner, so we had
Yep.
started dinner, you came back, we would just, and heated everything up, and then you went again.
Yep.
And came back, then you told us to leave. Well, when we left, I said to him, there's this is a busy time. We may not be able to get a hotel room, or we may have to pay through the nose to get one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop and see if we can wait at Tommy's.
Yep.
And you went over there, Tom. That's Tom
Yep.
Morris, and that apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy obviously was there. He's in Michigan, but neither was the guy that next door neighbor
Yep.
that has the key.
Okay.
But we went up there, knocked, and did that thing. And so then we went over, and I wanted to go back to his place, which I've been to
Well,
before,
you say his place.
Jimmy's place
Okay.
in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
and he lives on the second or third floor of an
Yep,
apartment.
yep.
Have you guys been there?
Yep,
Okay.
certainly have, yep.
All right. So he didn't want to, and that threw suspicion. I mean, what the hell does he want me to see his place? I've been there. You know, not a number of times, but I've been there 2-3 times.
Perfect.
I'm just giving him Tom's phone number, Gary.
Yeah.
And also, I think that you were confusing about Kathy Letourneau coming tomorrow. Gary was letting you know that
No,
Tom
both of them-
Morris is
both of them
coming
are coming.
tonight at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, okay,
He's
I remember
coming
you saying
tonight.
that,
And
okay.
she's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Right,
okay.
tomorrow morning.
Okay.
All right. So, he says, no, let's get a hotel.
Okay.
Well, okay. So we go over and get a hotel. We get to the hotel, and it's, I go to 2 of them. Both of the Marriotts that are over there, Town Suites and something else, and they're full. So we go over to, they said, we think that the Holiday Inn's got some openings. So we went to the Holiday Inn, which is just kitty corner across from there, and I did, and they did. And I paid for it, and he went, geez, I must have left my ATM, my credit card in the ATM machine. Not like there was a panic to it, just like
Right,
he
right.
didn't want to maybe,
Put the money.
yeah, just because maybe, you know, now in retrospect, not now that I'm thinking that at that
Right.
time, but I'm thinking, he didn't want to throw $100 down there, and he needed that for money if he's going to run.
Right, okay.
That's my opinion, that's what I thought. So anyways, we go up, we'll start watching the Golden State Oklahoma game, pro basketball game,
Right.
for about a half hour.
Yeah.
Then he says, I'm going to go down, there's music playing down and the thing, I'm going to go down and see what's happening down there. So he's gone maybe an hour, give or take.
Whichever way you want.
All right, give or take
Yep.
an hour. And he comes back up and he says, yeah, there's a little bar down there. I sat down, there's 4 or 5 guys, we had a couple of beers. I think, well, okay.
Right, right.
And so we start watching the game again, and now we got there about 8:15, 8:20, so it's about 9 o'clock, he goes down, gets back maybe 10-ish or so, about 11:30 or so, the game's over, there's another game on.
Mm-hmm.
I fall asleep.
Okay.
So I roll over so that my back's in the TV still on.
Yep.
And I wake up again maybe another half hour later, and I look and the TV's still on, and I kind of look over, and he looks like he's in bed. And so then I go to sleep, and I thought I heard a door close, but we had two queen beds in a room, and then another room that went to the door, which was a living room.
Right.
With a,
So when
And
you
I
fall
glan-
asleep, is
I-
he
I
in the
glan-
bedroom by the bed, or is he in the other room?
he's in the other both bed where he's in the bedroom toward the window. I'm the
Got it.
bedroom toward the bathroom.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and so when I hear that click, I can take a look over, and I see I notice the TV's off, which it wasn't, like I told you. So the TV's off. I look over, and it looks like he's in bed. I'm half asleep
Right,
in
right.
one of these. And so in the morning I get up, which I normally do somewhere between 6 and 7. I get up at 6:30, but I wake up probably at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of lay there because I think, he
Yeah,
hasn't been
disturb him.
sleeping well. I don't want to, I would lay you so he gets
Yep.
some sleep. So then I get up, go to the bathroom, and I see that that's a sham, that there's just pillows there making it look like somebody's there.
So there's pillows with the covers pulled up.
Yeah, covers pulled over, 3 pillows. There's 4 pillows. 3 pillows and then one at an angle like that.
Right.
With covers over it. So it looks like,
So a body's laying there and the head.
yeah, it looks like, especially in the dark, if I look
Right.
over in the dark, because they're white. White
Right.
pillows, white covers.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I can see an outline.
Yep.
So I think, what the hell? So I get up and I go down and get a cup of coffee, go out and his car's gone. And then I think, well, maybe he let me sleep in and he's going over to feed the cats because it's 6:30. You let the cats out and feed the cats and it's 6:30.
Gotcha, okay.
I thought, well, I'm gonna give him the better. I'm gonna think better of this. And I'm
Maybe
gonna
a
wait.
note or anything like that?
No, nothing. I said, I'm gonna wait till 8 o'clock. I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee, get to USA Today, do a Sudoku, drink a cup of coffee, and about 7:45, I'm saying, no, the hell with it. And I go down and I order a cab, but it takes a cab 20 minutes. So I get there, I get about 10 after 8, I get over to the house, and you've got the young black lady that is yeah, she's in uniform, but in an unmarked car.
Yep.
And she goes, who that? I mean, I got there with the cab, I got, who are you? And I'm Gary, well, who's Gary Good? And I said, well, and so she calls the sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
She can't get a hold of the sergeant right away, so I just said, look, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go get Ernie that you met, and I'm gonna bring him back over here, and I'm gonna have him give you the cell phone, because I don't have a cell phone.
Right.
I can't take the car, I can't
Gotcha.
take the phone up, so I'm just going over there and have a cup of coffee. And then, within 15 minutes, you and your partner, your other partner, the taller guy, came, and then I went through everything, kind of like I'm going through now, and you said, we'll get back and do that here, like we're doing it now, after you find out more. And then I said to you, after we were explaining things, and I said to you, you said, well, something like, what I said checked out, but everything he said was a lie. Mm-hmm. You said something along that line, or maybe...
And then we kind of talked about a little bit...
Might have made me think that.
Right. So I want to kind of go back a little bit to the story.
Sure.
Because you had left on, which you told me in the other statement, Tuesday.
Tuesday at 7:45, Tuesday morning, to go over to Fort Myers.
Fort Myers. And who were you staying with there again?
I was staying with Dane, what's Dane's last name? Dane DeRush. Dane DeRush, and he's another officer of the court. He was an arbitrator in the court.
Okay.
Head arbitrator.
So you stayed there until Saturday?
I stayed there until about 8 o'clock Saturday morning. I left there, came back across Alligator Alley.
Right.
And then I got to Skip's about 10:35.
Okay.
Because I said I'd get there at 10:30. I happened to look at my watch.
Right.
It was 10:35.
Pretty close.
According
Your communication, you saw Skip Tuesday when you left at his house.
That's the last time I saw Skip.
Okay. Did he have any plans that week?
Yes.
Okay.
And Monday, I was there when he called for the tee times at the golf course they played. I think it was 8:52 was tee time. That sticks in my head.
Okay.
That it was right around 9. I thought it was 8:52, but it could have been something
Who was going to be
different.
playing?
And it was going to be Steve, Denny, Jimmy, and Skip.
Okay.
Those four.
Okay.
Because if I'd stayed there, I'd have been one of them.
Right.
Then he also called his gal that he dates, Betty.
Now who did?
Skip did.
Skip, okay.
And said they were planning on sometime during the week going to the tennis match in Miami, which is like that match is like the fifth, there's the top four, the Wimbledon, the French Open, the Australian Open, and the US Open, and then the Miami Open is like the fifth.
Biggest.
And so Skip's a tennis player, very knowledgeable about all of the tennis players, and he loves it. We watched it on, I don't care about it, but I watched it with him on television because I'm here with him.
You're a friend, you got nothing you can do,
your buddy, you do what your buddy wants to do.
Right, understood.
So then he was going to go down there, but because I'm there, he's not going. I said, well, hell, go. No, I want you to stay here. I can go without Betty for 2 weeks, You hadn't seen her in 2 weeks.
Right.
And there's also Rita, I'll tell you a little about.
Yep.
So anyways, he calls her and he says, and I can hear him talking on the phone, like he's sitting next to me, I can hear her.
Right.
And, she says, yeah, I'm going to take a little money out of, the ATM. How much? He said, it's going to cost us about $45 for a ticket.
For the tennis?
For the tennis.
Okay.
And,
so Skip is planning on going with Betty to the tennis?
Yeah, and I'm saying, and he's an avid fan.
Yep. Does he say what day they're going?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going Thursday. I'm going to pick you up in the morning. You say, I know you don't like to get up early, so how about 7:30? She says, why don't you make it 7:30?
Okay, and you can hear this.
And I can hear both their voices.
Okay,
hers a little muffled.
Sure.
But I mean, I can hear it clearly.
Right.
And he says, because it's going to be busy, and so what we'll do is we'll take the sawgrass. So I'll pick you up at 7:30, he restated, I'll pick you up at 7:30, and we'll take the sawgrass, it'll be less busy.
Okay.
And she goes, okay, all right, I'll see you then. And he said, okay, I'll pick you up.
And this was on
This is on Monday afternoon.
Monday afternoon.
Or
Okay.
late morning.
Yep, okay.
So he hangs up, blah, 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 does whatever they're gonna do, whatever we go ahead and do. And I don't think anything else about it. We do our thing, we have a couple of beers that night. Nothing great, because I'm gonna take off, and it's only him and I.
Yep.
And so I get up in the morning, we have coffee, shoot the bull at 6 o'clock, take care of the cats, and etc. I have a couple cups of coffee, and then I hit the road.
Okay.
All right? And I tell him, I'll see you on Saturday. I said, I'll try to get back here in the morning. So I go ahead, and I don't hear anything from Skip. I don't get any text. I don't get anything. But then and the only reason
So
is
really-
we looked at the text. It was
Right.
1:46 on Friday. I
Right.
got
So
the
you
text.
don't hear from him when you say goodbye on Tuesday morning?
I don't hear from him
after you
again
have a
until
call.
I get a text.
And really, there was no need to, because you told him, hey, I'll be back Saturday.
And I was planning on talking to him on Friday
Okay.
to tell him what time, but
Right.
I was going to do it like
Yeah.
in the evening.
Right.
I mean, I figured he'd be out doing some running.
Right, right.
I wouldn't
Okay.
get him at 1:46, but at 1:46 he texted me.
Right, okay.
And you got the text, so
Yep.
you've got it all there, and it's something to the line that the first thing is, what's your ETA? I said roughly around 10:30, and then this thing is, well, I'm going to be kayaking with a new lady I met at the on the practice green or tee at the golf course, and I can't remember if he put it in there or something. He said, and I got some Viagra from Jimmy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that's better than kayaking with Ernie, who's
Right.
across the street. You know,
Right, right.
he said, you're right, or something like that, or you know.
Okay.
And I said, well, great. I said, how old is she? You know, and he said 62, and that was the end of it. That's the last of that.
Okay.
So if you look on it, you
Well-
just see a 6 and a 2.
And we talked about it that day.
Yeah.
Is that a normal text exchange between you two?
No.
Like the messages that came from him, would that be the normal, I guess, I know it's hard to say attitude or verbiage on the text, or is it more of a banter?
Yeah, this is more like a band. This
Like,
wasn't something that he would, like, he wouldn't have told me that he got Viagra from Jimmy.
right,
He would tell me in person.
right.
He would tell me after the fact that he needed Viagra.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, Jimmy had some Viagra, but
Right.
boy, I needed it, or
Okay.
something like that.
Right.
He wouldn't go and say, before I got some Viagra from Jimmy, because this is Friday.
Right.
As opposed to Jimmy, he'd spent the night with her Thursday. Why is he telling me he got some Viagra? Why wouldn't he say to me, boy, last night I got that, luckily I got some Viagra. That would be how he'd say it. He would
Right.
just say, oh, I got some Viagra. Well, why didn't you tell me you used it on? Because we're guys 75 years
Right,
old. We're
right.
not going to go out banging gals 3 nights in a row.
Right, right.
I don't care if you brought in Marilyn Monroe's reincarnation. I could look.
Right. Gotcha, understood.
You know, and he's the same way, you know.
Right,
I mean,
right.
but we like ladies,
Right, right.
but we're not, you know.
So you mentioned even the same thing, the whole 62, just to say 62 and that's it?
Yeah,
is-
you know, not like going. And how would he know he's 62? I just thought he'd say, it looks like she's in her late 50s, early 60s. That's what he would have said.
Right,
He wouldn't have said to me, oh, she's 62.
right.
Because whenever I talked to Betty apparently is 74. I had to get that out of him 3 times. He said, she's roughly our age.
Right.
Well, I said, what do you have to mean roughly? That's how we talk. We
Right,
don't-
it's vague and you're not direct and to the point.
No.
Did you find the message about him calling you or messaging you about when you were going to be back on Saturday? Was that something you normally would have done, or
No,
could he
but
care less? He would have just waited for you to call and...
No, he might have, yeah, he would have said, one or the other of us would have texted or talked to the other one about what time.
Right, okay.
And it would have happened on Friday.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened on Thursday.
Okay.
Because we would know on Friday, now what time am I leaving?
Right, right, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And so when he said that, that wasn't unusual. What was unusual was that at noon, you know, number one, I got there, and the door was
Well,
locked, which was
let me
supposed
just
to
go
be
before
open.
that. Let me just go before that. So you also had mentioned to me when we were talking, you have Betty here, and you have this new girl.
Yeah.
Now, from the conversations and the setup with Betty, and you know Skip Sr. very well.
Right.
Skip would have not all of a sudden met this new lady and blown Betty off, for better terminology, after they'd planned all this tournament just because he met this lady on a Wednesday on the driving range. He wouldn't have canceled plans with Betty
I
and
can
the
tell you,
tennis
here's what Skip would have done. Skip, number one, wouldn't have missed that golf tournament. Number two, tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Number two is he would never blow somebody off.
Okay.
Okay.
So he would have
But
at least...
he would have said to me, let's say if and I've been there before that, and he said this happened, this truly happened. Well, I'm going to go and after I go on Thursday with Betty, I'm going to see if I can't hook up on Friday with this gal. That's what he would have done. He wouldn't have said, I'm going to blow this gal off.
So not only would he have not gone with this girl and blown Betty off, but there's no chance that he wouldn't have at least been gentleman enough to call Betty to cancel.
Yeah, he wouldn't have texted her. He would have called and canceled. So I asked Jimmy, did he call her? He said, I think he canceled. And I said, well, did he text her, call her? He didn't, I don't know. I said, did he do it on Wednesday? You know, because it was Thursday morning. Now, I don't know. Did you talk to her?
My partner, I think, had, so
Did-
I don't know
did-
the conversation.
But you don't know if he blew her off or if
Yeah, I'm
he
not
can't-
sure.
Okay. Now, the other...
But obviously he didn't go, one
he
way or
didn't
the
go.
other.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that Skip would never do that.
Okay.
Skip would not, I mean, maybe, you know, I mean, I could have believed that he would have canceled with her. Okay? Very highly unusual, but he would have called her and did that. And so that's what Jimmy told me, yeah, he canceled with her. He didn't say he blew her off.
Okay.
He canceled her, you know?
Okay.
Because Skippy wouldn't blow anybody off.
Right, okay. Just forget about it and move on to
No,
the next.
he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that, and he's known her for, well, he knew her before when his wife was alive.
Okay.
Because she played golf.
Gotcha.
Where you guys found this, supposedly found this
Okay.
body.
So,
All right, go ahead.
kind of fast forwarding to, we talked about, you said the message he got was the kayaking. That what time were you going to be back? Because I met this girl going kayaking Saturday.
And I got this Viagra from,
Right.
all right?
So let's
and I'll
talk-
leave, and I forgot at the end of it, he said, I'll leave the door open.
Okay. So let's talk a little about the kayaking, because you kind of brought that up to me
Yep.
the other day too. Is Jimmy an avid, or is Skippy an avid kayaker?
Not at all.
No.
Let me tell you what they did. They took a kayak out. This is why I made that little
So we have
reference.
right on your
All
thing
right, the
about
reference to Ernie. They went out and they were both in the kayak, and the wife was out there. We were laughing about this later. It was before I came, 2 weeks, so it's 3 weeks ago.
how long has he lived in that area? Like 20 years?
18 years
Okay.
and 34 for Ernie.
Yep. And how long has he had that little kayak and the inflatable?
I didn't know he had an inflatable kayak,
idea.
and that inflatable kayak was not out the 2 weeks I was there.
Not out. What do you
Not
mean
out.
by
It
that?
wasn't out laying on that floor.
No.
It wasn't there. I'd never seen that kayak.
Okay.
I mean, he might have had it on top, and I just never noticed it.
Right, right.
But that kayak was never folded, sitting anywhere on that floor, between the refrigerator and that rack
Okay.
of everything that
Right.
goes this way in his place.
So, to the best of your knowledge, he's not a kayaker.
They got in the kayak, and they got in the damn kayak backwards.
Okay. This is
Him and Ernie got in it backwards and couldn't get the damn thing back to shore.
Right.
Does that tell you that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing on the
Right,
kayak?
right.
And so I'm thinking, Ernie and Jimmy wasn't there, but Ernie and we went to the Duck and had a beer, and they're telling me this story. You know what
Right.
the Duck is?
Yeah. The duck
We're having a
tavern.
beer at happy hour. We go in and have 2 beers.
Right.
Is it 2 for 1?
Yep.
And we're laughing our ass off. You know, we can't get the damn, we figure out we're in backwards.
Gotcha.
You know, we're laughing, oh, geez, it's stupid.
Gotcha.
So Jimmy doesn't know that I've been told this.
Right, okay.
So I'm thinking, I get that thing, he's going kayaking, I think, kayaking?
A little bizarre.
He can't even get in the boat in the right end of a kayak.
Right.
How the hell he's
with
going?
some lady.
But I buy into it.
Okay.
Hook, line, and sinker. You know, I mean, I have little trick, and then I move on. You know, I'm not in any, it's your buddy. You're not in a fatal judging stage or anything.
Right,
You know,
of course.
And had he told me that he had bypassed Betty for that, I didn't find that out till I got over there, and it's the afternoon. I get there, and I said, what the hell's he doing? He knows I'm coming. Mm-hmm. What's he doing?
So then kind of explain to that part. So you get back at...
I get back there about 10:30, 10:35 exactly, because I looked at the clock in the car.
Okay.
And I thought, guys, that's pretty good. I made pretty good time, because I left later than to get back. Right. I should have got back about 11, but I made good time across Alligator Alley. So I grabbed my bag and my computer bag, both bags, throw one on top of the other, and I pull it, and the door's locked. Damn him.
No cars in the driveway?
No cars in the driveway. And I thought,
But he told you that he was going to leave the door open.
He's going to leave the door open. So I reached to get my phone, and I think, you know, that the back door on the lanai is usually open. Mm-hmm. So I go back there, and sure enough, and then that when you ask how does he keep that door locked in the back, that thing wasn't there. Remember how I was standing up? Mm-hmm. I saw that, so I slid the door open. I went in, opened the door, brought my stuff in.
Okay.
Okay, so I bring my stuff in. I put my stuff in the bedroom. Yep. I go back out, get those 3 or 4 shirts you gave me. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I had a bag of dirty clothes, just like I got over there, about the same amount from being over. Mm-hmm. So I threw them. I went out there to go and throw them in. And I see this kayak laying on the floor, totally spread out. You guys had it rolled up a little when I came up from outside, and I said to him, I said, that was laying there, but it was totally rolled out. Yep. And I'm thinking, I've never seen that there before. What the hell is that? What would he even want to take a blown up kayak, which I didn't even think he had. So I go ahead, I put the clothes in the washer, and I'm getting the soap and so forth, and there's nothing there, I know. And then I go ahead and wash the clothes. It takes 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it is. And, I haven't heard from anybody. I go in and I get myself a bottle of water, and I turn on the news. And then I go to put the clothes in the thing, and I look, and it's all, the screen's cleaned out. It's just, I never did laundry till my wife died, so these are things I've learned.
Sure.
So I throw that in, get that done. Go and take and hang up all my stuff and everything. And so then, I'd say maybe it's between, I'm not sure on this time, but it's like between 2 and 3.
Okay. Is there anything out of place at that time in the house?
Nothing, and I walk, I'm in the guest room, the guest bath, the living room, and the kitchen, and nothing's out of place. And my bed is exactly the same way I left it on Monday.
Okay.
He has his cleaning lady come on Tuesday.
Do you know the cleaning lady's name?
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
But I do know that she cleans for the neighbor, either the neighbor to the east of him, or two to the east.
Okay.
Same side of the street, but 2 down, 1 or 2 down. And she comes over and does them both the same day. It's Tuesdays.
Okay.
And she does, she comes from a half hour away or something.
You told me every other Tuesday.
Every other Tuesday.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying she does both of them on that Tuesday.
Right, but you just,
earlier
you said she comes Tuesday.
Okay, every other Tuesday.
Okay.
So,
you do your clothes.
I do my clothes in around a little after 2, I think. Jimmy comes, knocks on the door. Hey, Gary, how you doing? It's fine. He comes in, and I said, your dad's still not here. And that's
So
all
was it planned that Jimmy was gonna be coming on Saturday or no?
Jimmy was going to come, and we were all the three of us going to watch the 2 playoff games.
Okay.
You know, the
College
Chicago,
basketball. Yep.
Michigan, and the Kansas Villanova game. And Michigan game started around 6.
Yep.
So
What does Jimmy do when he gets there?
nothing, he said, normal. We talk a little bullshit and so forth like this. But then that's when I get the story.
Okay.
Now I start getting the story, because I don't know the story. All I know is Skip's not going to be there. I assume he's left from there to go kayaking. Left the house.
In the morning.
8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever, to go kayaking. From his note, that's how I'm perceiving it. And I said, what the hell is with this gal? The gal at the... How do you meet her? He said he was on the practice green, practice. I said, was he on the practice green or hitting balls? Skippy doesn't usually hit balls. He goes on the practice green and putts.
At the driving range, he doesn't.
Yeah, and I said, did you see her? No. He said, well, did he tell you about her, or did he brag about what? No, he says he mentioned her when we got in the, got in the car. And I said, well, what did he say? Did he say that they were going out? No. So I'm thinking, okay, he might.
Did he know? Did he know the story?
Yes.
About the kayaking? Did you have to tell him that?
He said, yeah, he went out with her Thursday and spent the night, because, like he told you, he told me the same thing. He got drunk on Wednesday. Okay. They'd been drinking.
So tell me what you remember he tells you. And again, I don't remember if you were sitting at the table when he gave you the whole story. So kind of give me what you think he tells you.
Yeah, he said to me that they got back. They left the golf course, and Skippy dropped him. And I played the golf course. Where you come out, there's a parking spot, right? A parking lot here, but and there's a drop off over here where you take here and they clean your clubs when you're done.
Yep.
Well, he just dropped Jimmy off with his clubs, and Jimmy walked to his car. He was at the far side of the parking lot. And so then he took off and said he had to make a couple of stops, and he got home before Skip did.
Okay, Jimmy did.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, Jimmy, you made a couple of stops and got home before Skip. Skip's a quick guy. Always in the...
Right.
He's always moving.
Okay.
And I thought, well, geez, I wonder then... So now my thing about him not making a date with her starts to go away. I'm thinking, shit, I wonder if he saw her there, because she might have got done before him. And they made the date then.
Right.
Because now he goes on, I think of this after the fact.
Yep.
He goes on and says, I spent the night on Wednesday, okay,
Now let me ask, you said normally Wednesday night is this dinner
Wednesday
night?
night, typically, a typical Wednesday night is Sally and him and Jimmy at least have dinner that Skip makes.
Okay.
They have a couple of cocktails and watch Survivor every Wednesday. Well, that Wednesday that we're talking about, I'm not there. Sally has a birthday, and her nephew has taken her out to dinner, so she's not there. Skippy always makes dinner. They didn't go out to dinner, but it doesn't sound like Skip made dinner either.
No.
But they got drinking and taking the shots, and he said he spent the night.
Okay.
So
James Jr. tells you he spent the night there at
Skip's.
Okay.
Then he said he went home in the morning, and he came back. He came back to let the cats in and feed them. That Skip had asked him to do that on Thursday afternoon because he was going out with her.
Okay.
So he didn't get back there until between 6 and 7 o'clock instead of 4 or 4:30. Ernie came over at 4:30, roughly their time. That's when he told me, you're somewhere in there. And he got the cats in, because it's a difficult time getting Babe in. All right, you gotta, she's a tough one, you know, but he's used to doing it. Gets the cats in and feeds them. And Jimmy comes home closer to 7, or not comes back to Skip's.
Okay, so let me ask you this. And
That's
I
the
don't
story
know,
I'm getting
right,
from.
and I don't know if you know much of that. So, Jimmy comes usually Wednesday nights.
Yes, but he doesn't stay.
Doesn't typically stay at all.
No, he leaves right after
Right.
9 o'clock,
So-
or 9:15.
Would it be normal for him to go home all the way down to Fort Lauderdale and then make arrangements with Skip to come back and take care of his cats just for the night when Ernie, who always takes care of the cats, lives across the street?
No, what happened was he said that he went home, he got Viagra that he gave to his dad.
Okay.
All right, that's his story. He had to do some stuff. He ran home,
Right.
and so when he came back, he gave the Viagra to his dad. And so then, because his dad wanted him, he was going to go out with
The girl.
the girl, that he wanted him to make sure the cats got fed. And he said, yeah, I'll do that, Dad, but he didn't get back, and so Ernie did it. But then when he did get back, supposedly he spent the night, and so his dad wasn't there. His dad spent the night with the gal.
Mhm.
Now this is how the story's going.
Right.
So I said, well, and he says, Friday morning, I'm trying to think if he fed the cats. He fed the cats. His dad came home and said he wanted Jimmy to get some stuff out because he was going to start parking a car in the garage. And so he wanted Jimmy, and Jimmy says, well, can I borrow your car and you take mine? Okay. And so he's going, so his dad's there. He's going at 3 o'clock, let's see, between 2 and 3, he said his dad, he came back and him and his dad exchanged cars.
What do you make of that part?
Well, Skip has lived there 18 years and he's never once told me he wanted to park a car in the garage. And they always had 2.
Okay. And how about the interior of the garage?
Interior of the garage didn't look like it changed at all. That's why I'm saying that
Right, but and how long does it look like that?
18 years.
Okay. So it wasn't at any point that within the last year or 2 years or whatever,
never had
that
room.
garage became messy.
He never had room to put, from the time they moved down here, from the day that they moved in, they never had room to get, there was no way you'd ever get a car in there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So.
So that's the strange thing right there.
Right.
Is Skip wouldn't ask it.
So you didn't see really, since you were gone, and we were sitting there when Junior told us that he had moved some stuff in the garage.
And took clothes out of the closet in the other, not the guest room I'm staying in, but the other guest room.
Right.
I don't know if there was clothes in there or not,
Okay.
because
But
I don't
to your
stay in that
knowledge, it
room.
didn't look like anything was moved around the garage at all.
It didn't look to me either.
Right.
And
Other than that.
No, we opened the garage to come into the garage on Saturday or Sunday, you know, so that I come in and the garage was the same from coming in. I went in through the door on Saturday, but on Sunday we opened the garage and came in. I can't remember where we went.
Right.
Oh, we went down to, when we came back from the truck,
Yep.
finding that, you know, the police finding the truck. And we came back, we had locked the door. And we got out, he has keys, but they were in the car. And so he knew the number to the
Code.
He opened the code, and that thing, same thing, all refrigerator, alley, but now there's that kayak, the 3 or 4 things down the middle, then all of the stuff packed in the far corner
Right.
to the front, all the way back, halfway to the
Washer and
dryer. That's exactly.
Do you have any
how it's always
conversation
been.
with him about that kayak on the ground, or
No.
nothing?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you
I
guys
don't
talk
know.
about it.
I don't know why it's there. I have no
Right.
idea.
Okay, so you guys don't really discuss.
No, we don't
the kayak.
discuss that. We don't
Okay.
discuss the kayak. I'm just.
Okay.
We go in, and I'm kind of glad we found the car.
Right. So let's just go back before that. So on just about what he was telling you. So he tells you Friday they were supposed to meet up at 3 or 4 again to switch cars back because he was
2 to 3. He took the car in the morning after
Right.
spending the night
on Wednesday.
on Wednesday. No, on Thursday. The night on Thursday. Remember I told you he came back, didn't get back till 7?
Right.
And then he spent the night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, got up, took care of the cats.
Right.
Or his dad did. He didn't say he took care of the
Right.
cats. He got up.
Does he
in the
say
morning-
whether his dad was there Thursday night or he stayed alone?
No, he said he stayed alone. His
Okay.
dad wasn't there.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, but his dad came back on Friday.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if it's in what he's telling me, if
Right.
he told me that he fed the cats and his dad came home, or
Okay.
did his dad come home and feed the cats.
Yep.
But his dad wasn't there all night.
Okay.
He's supposedly with this guy.
Yep.
So they come back and Skippy wants him to get some of his stuff out of there so he can clean it out and start parking the car there, which again is ludicrous. But anyways, I'm not thinking that they get along now. So okay, it's strange, but okay. And then he took the car, because I'm wondering when did he see his dad last? So he's telling me.
What car? No, I already know that. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So I'm thinking he's seen him between 2 and 3, and then I'm looking back and thinking, well, he texted me at 1:46. He texted Ernie to do the let the cats out and feed the cats Saturday morning.
Okay.
Okay, so according to Jimmy, he changed cars and he left.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and according to Ernie, Skip's car was never back there, but Ernie goes to bed at 9:30.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right, and so I don't know who took care of the cats on Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. So the whole time that you've been here,
But
Skip's
it
been-
kind of left itself that maybe Skip had done that
Mm-hmm.
and then went somewhere.
Right.
But nobody told me that they took care of the cats on Friday at 4:30 or.
Mm-hmm.
So I assumed that Skip, maybe it was closer to 3, that they changed cars and that Skip left at 5 o'clock or something, took care of the cats, and off he goes, and he texted Ernie.
Right.
But he texted Ernie at 2 o'clock, I think.
So as long as you've been here, has Skip switched cars with?
Never.
Nothing.
I've been coming down here for 18 years. All right? I've never seen them switch cars.
No. Okay. So.
And Skip is the guy, if we're going anywhere, Skip drives.
Okay.
He likes to be in control and drive. Nobody else drives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So Skip's and I can't see Skip finding some new little chickie poo and going and pick her up in a Prius. Right.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, yeah?
Right.
All
Okay.
right?
When you get back Saturday, obviously the white car is not there.
Not there.
So you weren't in the white car at all?
No.
Okay. At all? Okay.
No. I was in it on Monday.
Right, prior to going.
Prior to go.
But after you didn't see the white car once
And
you got back?
and when the car was found, we never touched it or went inside it.
Right.
We had the keys. We got the keys, and the keys were in that basket where I put my
Right.
phone. That's the basket that has all the extra keys.
Mhm.
We looked in there, and Skippy's car keys were in there for the escape. So we took those with us because the
Was it
gal
a regular set of keys or was it an extra set?
extra set.
So it wasn't the originals.
No, it was one. The
Do you know what
original
his
set.
original set looked like?
I think the original set had the house keys on.
Okay.
Maybe not,
Okay.
but I think it did.
Okay.
But the other one didn't. The other one just had the car key with I think one with, you got it.
Yep.
We gave you,
Yeah, we have
no,
it
we
for-
didn't, we gave it to
The
Police
officer,
officer.
so it's passed down.
All right.
So his house keys, were those on any special key ring or anything?
I don't think so. I thought that he had maybe one key for the house
Okay.
on his, on the, the car, the
Okay.
fob.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm not sure of that.
Okay.
But it seems to me he had something on there that besides, it wasn't just keys, it had something. Maybe it could have been one of those things that you use at Walmart or Costco, their little card, plastic.
Right.
Could have been that. It was something on those
Gotcha.
keys.
On the keys. Okay.
Yeah, the original, the ones he
Yeah.
used.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
While you're at the house, well, let me just go back. So, do you find it a little abnormal, or would it be normal? How do you find it that Jimmy Jr. was there, stayed over Wednesday, then supposedly stayed over Thursday? I mean, does he normally stay at the dad's house like that, or?
he stays at his dad's house once in a blue moon.
Okay.
He'll come over, but he don't stay.
Mhm.
But if they've been, he might stay if they've been having cocktails
Right, right.
overly, but there'd have to usually be somebody else there. The two of them don't just drink and get hammered. They're not, oh, I want to sit down with my son and have drinks. No,
Right.
they have drinks, but it's,
What is the
and they
relationship?
fought,
What is the relationship? Because
the
it almost says we were
relationship
sitting
was
there.
very tense.
He doesn't call him dad.
He always
calls
calls
him
him
Skip.
Skip only.
So is that just it's been that
Ever
way?
since he's been a kid.
Mhm.
I think
And he's his biological father?
yes,
Okay.
and he knocked up Terry,
Okay.
and they got married. All right, he was through law school. All right, and I think that Jimmy has always called him Skip, not Dad. And I think that he just never, for whatever reason, never cared for his dad. And he was the only child. He was spoiled rotten. He had a great life, kid's life. His parents, his dad's a lawyer and a judge and made a six-figure income his whole
Right.
life. So they lived in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and Skip knew everybody, and everybody knew Skip.
Gotcha.
Okay? And so the kid was, everybody knew Skip. They took care of the kid. They looked the other way when he screwed up and that kind of thing. The police
Right.
bring him home instead of putting his ass in a jail somewhere. And he went on to get a law degree, then couldn't pass the bar.
Okay.
Okay, so he was always been a disappointment to both his parents. But he was, moms are moms.
Right,
They
right.
protect him, try to,
Sure.
And Skip was a little harder with him, and if we were sitting here right now and Skip and Jimmy were here, and we were setting out in that thing there, and Skip said, well, it's daytime. Jimmy would say, nah, it's night. And they'd argue about it.
Okay.
That's what's there.
So you said it was pretty tense, but you use the word tense between them.
Yeah, it is. It's always, they're on the golf course or anything else, like, oh, you moved that putt, you moved it, things that you wouldn't do with him and Skip would do that wouldn't happen with us.
Right. With you and Skip.
Me and Skip, or me and Tommy, or Skip and Tommy, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Skippy can be, he sees the funny side of things, so he can make a joke that irritates you.
Right.
But Jimmy and him were just oil and water.
Okay.
All right? And he was trying real hard since his wife died because he promised.
Right.
And so that's why Wednesdays and Sundays, Jimmy's a good golfer.
Yeah.
They go play golf together.
Okay.
Usually with
Somebody else.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got like 6 or 8 rotating guys that
Got
they
you.
play with mostly.
Okay.
And Tommy and I always when we're down here.
Okay.
And Jimmy's always included.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's included if we go to, if we were to go to the Duck, and we don't do that, but if
Right.
we were to go to the Duck and watch a ball game,
Right.
Jimmy would be invited.
Gotcha.
Or Duffy's or something like
Do you ever
that.
see him? Like, how long you been here? A month or so? You said.
I was here a total of 3 weeks. 2 weeks
Yeah.
to the, exactly 2 weeks before I left on Tuesday.
Okay.
5 days gone, and then I stayed another
Gotcha.
week.
Okay. Did you see him get into it while
No.
you were here at all?
No, I've never seen them get into it. They were always just bickering.
Bickering. Okay.
It's
Do-
bickering. It's not pushing and shoving or taking a swing at each other or getting mad and
Does Skippy
just
mention
they get
anything?
mad, but they don't get physically mad.
Does Skippy mention anything to you about anything about Jimmy recently? Issues, problems,
I
disappointments?
think if you talk to Kathy, I think he had financial.
Who did?
Jimmy.
Jimmy was having financial issues?
I think. I'm not sure that because
Okay.
nobody told me that. That's
Is-
not something I can say to you out of
Right.
knowledge.
Has Jimmy mentioned that to you at all?
No, but Kathy has.
Kathy has.
Kathy said
She
when
said that to you today.
After this?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, she
subsequent to this, okay.
And
Because you had mentioned that.
She said she quit playing golf with him because they're at each other's throat all the time, and she said it.
Okay. What would that have been over, did she say, or?
She said a lot of it's financial. So I'm pretty sure that he's trying to hit his dad up for, Jimmy's one of those, I'm going to hit the home run. He's always got some scheme coming, he wants to be, open something on the internet or do something. Or
As a result of our investigation, we have a really good idea of what happened, when things happened. We're just a little concerned about why certain things have happened. But that's why we came up here today, was to kind of let you know that we did in fact find your father. He has been identified inconclusively by the medical examiner's office. Okay, so we're not dealing with some random missing person at this point. And unfortunately, based on the information we have, we know that you're involved 100%. But I want to be able to at least draft in a report basically that we met with you today and are able to outline some facts to indicate that you're not the monster that people might think you are just based on the facts of the case. Does that make sense?
I'm not going to say anything. I think I need to have a lawyer, obviously, so.
Okay.